All right, Kendal, the new apprentice. First climb. Is this your first climb with ropes?
Yeah.
The whole shebang. All right. We're gonna climb this little beach and just do a little inner clear out. Pretty thick through the middle there. Okay, what do you need here? You need a friction hitch?
Yeah.
Okay. So the way I would normally show it is if you just throw your terminal end.
Yeah.
Now you're just going to climb doubled rope, right?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So on a beach, it has such soft bark.
Yeah.
A smooth bark. I'm okay with climbing up to get tied in without protecting it, but once you get up there, we'll switch over to a friction saver or something.
Okay.
That'll cut down on. Otherwise, you'll damage the bark pretty good.
Gotcha.
But for tying your hitch, it's usually easiest in doubled rope if you just toss your rope over a crotch.
Yep.
So this is your terminal end. This is your working end. So we'll tie. We'll try a canute. This might be too long, actually. We do 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I adjust it so that the bottom one is longer.
Okay.
So then the bottom one goes over top, around behind, and then it pokes up through itself there. Okay, now this should work. Now you just got to get it adjusted so that it's tight enough and so that both legs are equal length. Okay. So there's some debate on how you use this floatage pulley. Some people put it like this, and they'll tie into the small hole. And then
Yeah.
I like it the other way.
Yeah.
The kidney shaped hole.
Yep.
I like using that. So you can tie in like that.
Sorry.
And spin it around. So this is your setup here.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha.
So then you just want to do a load test on there.
Yeah.
Just clip in and hang from it.
Yeah.
See how it operates. So I have a similar setup here, but my rope isn't spliced.
So you have double fisherman's on the end of that then?
Yes. Okay. So slack management, when you're climbing doubled, you're constantly, well, when you're climbing any type, you're constantly keeping the slack out of your system, right?
Yeah.
So as we're climbing up, you never want to do more than 2 pulls before you take the slack out, like that, right? So basically, to take larger amounts of slack, I pull sideways, and then when it's a smaller amount, I'm pulling straight up like this, right? And that lets me adjust my slack. So I'm going to show you the way that I learned to climb, which was very little throw ball.
Yep.
And that's more based on the trees that we work on around here. There's lots of trees that you can get your rope over a low branch just by tossing it up there, chucking it up there, and then you get the end back down to yourself, clip in like this, and then you start climbing. So in doubled rope, you're reaching above your hitch, you're pulling slack, and then you're taking the slack out, right? And you're just continuing doing that. Some people call it air humping.
Yeah.
It's a lot of physical work. It's really hard on your arms,
Well,
these
like
biceps.
Hip thrusting, basically.
Hip thrusting, yes, exactly. So the concept is get your rope into a tie-in by chucking it up.
Yeah.
Climb up to it, right?
Yeah.
Once you're up there, then you'd switch over to your lanyard.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd pop your lanyard on. Okay, and then you'd take the slack out of your lanyard.
Yeah.
And then what you would do is slowly put slack into your climbing system to fully weight your lanyard, and then you know that you're on your lanyard.
Yeah.
And now once you're secure there, now you can unclip the terminal end. Okay? And then you can reach up and chuck it higher in the tree. Right?
Yeah.
And then get it back down to you. Whoops. And clip in. And then you just, now you're doing the opposite. Now you're fully getting the slack out of your climbing system, and then slowly loosening on the lanyard while staying attached.
Yep.
And now once you're secure and fully on your system, now you can take your lanyard off, right? So it's just repeating over and over. It's called alternating lanyard technique is what we call it. So that's the concept. So you'll see as we go up, it'll be a lot of, because we're not using throw ball, we're limited to how far up we can push our rope up, throw it up there, right? And you can also use like a pole printer. You can use it to push your rope up, but this tree here has so many branches and crotches to tie into that I wouldn't bother with it. So like I say, once we get up there, we'll switch over to a friction saver.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'll just leave that there. Okay. So in terms of evaluating a tie-in point, my rule of thumb is always like minimum of my wrist.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And you want to avoid tight crotches, obviously, especially in doubled rope. Your rope won't slide. Way too much friction. It'll make your job even harder of doing the body thrusting, right? And then just obviously you always want to stay as close to the trunk as you can, right? Like you wouldn't tie into something like that. It's too much leverage out from the tree. Yeah, you can tie into there. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So I'll let you get started. No. Take it the other way. Take it there.
Oh, okay.
There you go. There you go. So all the action is on the working end.
Yeah.
You're never doing anything with the terminal end until it's time to advance your line, right?
Gotcha.
Yeah, so another thing that you can do in a situation like that is you can reach up and grab both like this and then pull yourself up. Because now you've got an anchor there. Now, when you're doing that, what I'm saying is you're ignoring the slack. Just grab both and just haul yourself up there. And then you'll be standing up in a crotch. There you go. So now you're going to switch to your lanyard while keeping your climbing system on. So in this situation, you're going to use your lanyard as just a really short version of your climbing system. They're exactly the same, right?
Yeah.
They're both a doubled rope climbing system.
Yep.
So pick a tie-in that's higher. Oh, that'll work, yeah. When I say tight, what I mean is the difference between a U-shaped crotch versus a V-shaped crotch.
Okay.
That's what I mean by tight.
Yeah. U-shaped most of the time.
Yeah, you always want a U-shaped crotch. Oh, you're caught on your hand, Souther. Have to get used to that. Oh, and then the other main thing is the concept of being isolated, your rope being isolated.
Yeah.
Meaning that it takes the same path from you up through a crotch and then the same path down. And there's no branches in between.
Gotcha.
There you go. Okay, so if you're going to use your lanyard in this case as a second climbing system,
Yep.
you're going to have better luck if you just switch it over to your ring.
Okay. Gotcha.
No, both ends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And you kinda wanna-
So like I said, take up all the slack out of your lanyard. This is how you're switching over. All the slack, and then slowly put some slack into your climbing system, and you'll feel the entire load come into your lanyard.
Yeah, it's all on.
And then now you've switched over. Now once you know that you're fully secure in your lanyard, now you can take your climbing system off.
Gotcha.
Okay. And you can just keep going. So now anytime you can climb the tree, just climb the tree,
Gotcha.
as opposed to climbing your rope,
Gotcha.
right? As you go, obviously you keep the slack out of the system,
Yeah.
but just climb the tree
Yeah.
more naturally. It's easier on your body.
For sure. Any chance you can get it?
Good.
Should I start trimming as I go now then, or do you want me to
No,
work my way
I
up
would
first
just work your way up.
and then
We'll
come back?
get tied in and we'll come back down and work our way down. Yeah.
We're in a hurry though.
Uh-huh.
You could trim on.
Yes, you could. I'm just showing you how I learned.
Yeah, exactly.
We usually didn't trim on the way up. We would focus on climbing. She's a little bit slippery.
Yeah, it's a little. And then that's set like that properly like that, correct?
Yep.
Now, yeah, slowly take this off. Make sure I touched it.
Okay, hold on. So before you take your lanyard off, you gotta slacken
Okay.
on your lanyard.
Yep.
No,
Oh, my
on your lanyard to put all the weight into the climbing system.
Gotcha. And then obviously this. Oh, I guess my lanyard. I don't know, we're good. That triple action I'm gonna have to get used to.
What you could try, instead of having both systems on the same ring, you could try your lower attachments.
Gotcha.
You'd probably have an easier time.
Yep. this will obviously still hoist me in the tree. So.
What's that?
These guys here, if I use them for my.
Oh yeah, that's what it's designed for.
So am I fine having? Oh yeah.
What's up?
Well, I'm just over top of this one.
It'll be fine once you switch over. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you gotta get used to that motion of tending your slack.
Yeah.
By moving it, pulling it straight up. Okay. So you're not switched over till you put some slack into there.
Gotcha. So is that
there you go.
Good?
Now you're switched over. Yep. The point is that you don't unclip this one until you've slacked it off and put all of the weight into the other one.
Gotcha.
That's the point.
So like.
Okay, now have an eye.
Go ahead.
I'll just snip this little dead guy out of your way.
Sure.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, there you go. So now anything above you that you think you can hit by throwing your terminal end with your beaner?
Yeah, like that would be.
Yeah, you could probably hit that. And tossing a line is just something that you get good at with practice.
Yeah. Totally.
I'm out of practice these days because I don't climb much doubled rope. Yeah. There you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
So if it was me,
Yeah.
I would probably put it around the other side because it would be a smaller diameter.
Yeah.
You're going to have less friction.
Mm-hmm. So I can
around this side. It's either way for this. You'll be fine either way. I'm just saying.
in the future.
In general, yeah. I want to, when I'm evaluating a tie-in, it's the minimum is my wrist,
Yeah.
but there is also a maximum for double rope. Like I wouldn't want to tie in anything over. I don't know what
Like
it's arbitrary, but
basically.
yeah, like once it gets above a certain diameter, you got a lot of friction there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it depends on the bark and the type of tree as well.
Totally.
Now where that changes is when you get into using friction savers.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about natural crotch.
Yeah. I guess you're doing good. Technically, I'm on. pretty horrifying.
And it depends on the situation. You don't always have to use your lanyard to climb on. You can just use it as a temporary to keep you in place while you chuck your rope higher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can just use it as a safety in that way. Or you can use it as a short climbing system. Yep. Nice. There you go.
A lot of friction because of that.
Yeah, it's a tight crotch, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
There you go. So once you get more experience, you'll realize that the path that you take from the ground to the top it influences the speed later. Like if you took a weird winding path, once you get up and tied in, you'd have your tail of your line would be all tangled up in the tree, and you'd want to pull it all through and put it where you need it. So you get used to the idea of climbing in the way that makes the path the easiest, so that once you get up there, you don't have to do anything extra. You're already good to go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're looking to evaluate a tie-in point. So generally, you're looking for the tallest, most central point. And one of the benefits of climbing up like this, the way that we did, is that we get to inspect the tree as we're going.
Yeah.
So hopefully, if you climbed past, a major defect, you would have noticed it.
Yeah.
And then you'd know to not tie into that portion of the tree.
Exactly.
But if you didn't see anything on the way up, just looking at it here, I would say that this leader here that you're already on is probably the most central and highest one. So I would want to tie into that one.
So put my
But you can go considerably higher than that. You can go up another 10 foot probably.
So maybe that one there. Oh, you can
Even above that. Yeah. You'll see what I mean. Once you get up there, you'll want to pull your tail through and put it down through the middle here.
Yeah.
That'll be the easiest way to work. Yeah.
Can I cut some of this out of my way?
You can definitely just tie in twice though,
Yeah.
before you get your saw out. You can put them both through the same crotch if you want.
Okay.
That'll work.
So, like this guy, or just right down to
The whole thing, yeah.
Okay.
So don't do your finishing cut. You want to cut out. Yep. Try and match them up. Good. A lot of times getting the branch down and out of the tree is the hardest part.
Yeah. So you want to match the angle when you finish cut, right?
Yep. Nice.
Doesn't matter if you hit your saw on after. You want to kind of hit on your leg, not to damage the tree, basically, I guess.
You'll get used to the idea that when you're sawing with a handsaw, you never really know which stroke is going to be the final one where it goes through.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of people cut themselves. If they have something in the way,
Yeah.
the follow through will hit themselves.
Get some good. Just keep your saw away, basically. And now, you know, it's going to be my next. I get what you're saying for sure with throwing the Canadian over this way because my attachment points.
Exactly. If you do it the other way, it'll be crossed.
These glasses fog up. So
Yeah. So you could use here. That would be a.
This is a Y. You can use it because it's pretty strong.
It's definitely strong enough.
I guess I should probably.
Yeah.
Don't want that really so.
Yeah. There you go. You'll see me when I climb, I don't clip my lanyard terminal back to my
Keep
belt.
it on the
I know most people do. It's just the way I learned. I just never did it.
Yeah. Where do you usually like to flip it then? Or?
I just let it hang.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't have to. I'm just saying. But either way is fine.
Yeah.
Most people recommend for beginners to clip it back.
Yeah.
Just because if you were, let's say you were dropping down through a union in the tree with a lanyard that's unclipped, the lanyard's going to be dragged up and over and back through, and it could fall on your head.
Yeah.
It could, or smack you in the mouth or whatever.
Yeah. That would not fun, that's for sure.
So yeah, just climb the tree and keep the slack out.
Nah, I can kind of keep working my way up.
Yep.
So like, we're getting close to like the top, I guess, but maybe that one or the one over next to it. Or?
I think either one of these two would be fine for a tie-in if you wanted to tie in right here.
Yeah.
This one would be fine, or you could also use this one. So whatever's easier for you. For what we're doing. Generally speaking, I always tie in as high as I can,
Yeah.
regardless of what I'm doing in the tree.
Sure.
For the most part. There are a few exceptions, but some guys that I learned with, they wouldn't do that. They would just get up to what they figured was high enough and tie in there. But it's usually just more frustration in the end.
Yeah.
It's all about rope angles.
That's true.
There goes that beautiful lime green lanyard, eh?
Yeah. Actually breaking in the gear for once. It's not new anymore.
So slack off, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give you a hand here. Just put your line through the same spot, and we'll knock off a couple of these branches. They were gonna have to come off anyway, and they're in your way. Okay. Heads up, Tom. And then this one here. There you go. All right.
So would I put my tying point any higher?
Well, hopefully you can stand in this crotch. If you want to use that one to tie into, that'd be great.
Which guy right above me? That one right there?
Yep. Okay, so hang on.
Yep.
If this is our final tie-in, I want you to use a friction saver. Just like I say, beech has really nice, smooth bark.
Yeah. So tear easy, I guess, or friction burn.
So put this through the crotch.
This one right here.
Yep. So I would put it on the big side. Yeah. No, go ahead. Yep. See what I mean, though?
Yeah.
Where it Y's off, one side is smaller, and one side is bigger. So yeah, just like this on the big side. So the way this works is you take the terminal end of your line, you put it through the small ring,
Okay.
and then through the large ring, and then you clip it back.
So
and that'll be your final tie-in.
I would use this end here.
So you got to take your beaner off the splice. So normally, if you were working the whole tree,
yeah,
I would, like I say, I would tie myself in so that I'm in the center. So I would want the tail of my line coming down this way.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You would be like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Should rotate my body around that side.
Exactly.
Okay. That makes sense. Because then my rope's straight down there.
Exactly. There you go. Nope.
Oh,
Through the small ring first.
Is it always through this? I guess.
Yes, because that's the way that you retrieve it. Is you put a retrieval thing on the terminal end. Okay. You pull it back through. The retrieval cone goes through the large ring.
Yep.
Passes through the large ring. It gets stuck on the small ring, okay. And then it pulls it back down.
It's pretty nifty.
Okay. Nifty.
Nifty.
Go.
Good.
Yep. So take out all that slack. And then slack off on your lanyard. There you go. Good.
And now I gotta pull all my line through.
Exactly, because you see what I was talking about. Now the tail of your line goes all the way wrapped around through the tree. So you're gonna have an easier time if you just pull it all the way up and put it on a path straight down through the middle. So this one, these two below us. So this one is gonna come off. This one as well.
So maybe go down and drop down first and then pull the line through, or just pull
the
line through?
I would pull it now.
Okay.
I'm just showing you, just so you know. And I'll get tied in as well. Hey Tom, did my rope sleeve fall out? It must have.
Yep.
Can you tie that on for me? Yes, please.
You always use
I'll get the saw too. What's up?
Even if it's like a tree with harder bark, do you still use a camping anchor just to save your rope, kind of?
A lot of people do. I don't.
Yeah.
I'll just rock a natural crotch most of the time.
Yeah.
Again, that's just the way I learned.
Yeah.
And
don't need to fix it. If
it's half about protecting the tree and half about protecting your rope.
Yeah.
And it just depends on how you see it, but basically any device like a friction saver or anything that you use for your tie-in point, you're relying on the fact that you'll be able to retrieve it at the end without it getting stuck and you having to go back up. And so the boss that I had when I was starting out, like if I ever used something like that and it got stuck, he'd be so annoyed. So we just didn't use them.
Yeah.
To be honest.
It is annoying.
Should I just throw this down right now, or?
Yep.
I guess then just keep pulling it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I would have put it in the actual middle. You put it on the one side of that big branch there.
Yeah.
But that's fine. You can fix it later. That's fine. That'd be great.
I'm gonna go get one. You got in the driveway for now, so I can sneak out.
Right on.
Maybe in Tom's capable hand. Make sure you bring those too.
So this is another option. This is another option for a tie-in point.
Yeah.
It's like a rope sleeve. They make them out of leather as well. They don't work well with a splice. You'd be hard pressed to get your splice through there. It can be done, but it's better for a non-spliced rope. The thing that I like about these is they're almost bulletproof to retrieve.
Yeah.
There's very little chance that this is going to get hung up.
Yeah.
Compared to a friction saver.
Yeah.
So the other thing in evaluating your tie-in points, Kendal, is that you would never want to tie into what I call a double, any spot with two branches. So like for instance, right here, this spot has one little guy and another guy out the back, and then one there. Like if I tied into there, you might be tempted to tie into there just for security, but most of the time, if you tie into a double, you're gonna have too much friction.
Yeah.
Right.
Two things on it.
So the basic concept of your tie-in in doubled line is you want to tie into a vertical over a good sized branch.
Yeah.
Right. So in this situation, this branch is too small anyway.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to tie into that, but I would tie in like that, right?
Okay.
So I'm over a side lateral, but I'm around the main vertical stem.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going for.
Gotcha. And even if that did break, you'd hit this crotch right down there.
Exactly. And then something that you can do with same with ring and ring friction savers or these rope sleeves is you can put yourself over multiple crotches. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can climb like that, and that gives me extra redundancy and strength in my tie-in point. So again, that's a double. I would never tie in without a friction saver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A rope sleeve.
Now, would you use that crotch if you wanted? I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. I could definitely tie in there. Yep. Like that. That would be fine.
And then we want to trim out the crossovers in here?
Yeah, so we're going to trim all the crossing branches. There's a lot of rubbing branches.
So it's basically overgrowth.
It's a lot of interior overgrowth to take out. Yeah.
And dead fish here and there.
So just when you're starting, especially, never use any saw unless you're double tied in.
Right.
So make sure your lanyard's on. You can look up videos of how a handsaw slices through a rope under tension. A Zubat will slice through a tension line like nothing. Hot knife through butter.
So something like this one going right over top of this one?
Sorry, hang on.
Yeah, no.
There we go. Alright, so what are you asking about?
This one right, this guy here. See, it's kind of going that way, or would it be fine?
Oh yeah, that's all interior stuff that can come out. Yeah. It's kind of it's like this tree has so many leaders, like where the growth of one leader is growing into the rest of the tree.
Yeah.
It's just overcrowding.
So like this whole technically this whole branch.
Yeah, down to your foot there.
Yeah.
That whole branch can come out, no problem.
I guess
And then, like I said, these two, the one that you're standing on, and
And like this one here that has like a, I don't know if it's just a knot, I guess, but would you just, I guess it's.
I would leave that.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not gonna. That kind of thing isn't gonna do any damage if it was to snap. It's just gonna get hung up. Are you clear?
Yep.
I know you see me one-handing a saw a lot. It really is dangerous. Yeah. It's just a bad habit. So if it's me in a situation like this, I'm thinking about like, how am I going to get this to the ground, right? So for me, I would cut this off first, and then throw that down, and then I would take the rest of it. Because any type of spready thing is going to have, like, we're dealing with all this overgrowth, right?
Yeah.
It's nice in this situation. We have Tom on the ground with a pole printer. He can rip stuff out if it gets hung up.
Yeah.
But still, that's just how I do it. Nice.
And then these guys can go. I'll get the nub off.
Yep. So in terms of your handsaw, yeah. I'm fine with you one-handing a handsaw.
Yeah.
It's just the concept of the last stroke, yep. where it where it finishes the cut. You're never really sure which stroke that's going to be.
Yeah.
So you have to think about the follow through. Where's my blade going to go once it pops through? So as long as your other hand is well out of the way,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You do a nice undercut like that, and then you have control. Yep. Put your saw away. Oh, see, now I did that without my lanyard, see?
Oh, turn into me.
As long as you know.
Yeah.
There you go.
How's the swings, Tom?
Alright.
Oh, he's on the swing.
I was standing there and I was like, wow, hey, there's a secret behind me.
I want to take these nuts off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, as far as when you're cutting and you put your lanyard around something, you obviously want to be around something that'll hold your weight just in case something gets happen, or?
Exactly.
Okay.
There's two reasons you use your lanyard when you're cutting. One is just work positioning.
Yeah.
It allows you a secondary angle to get your body in a position that you need.
Yeah.
And then the second reason is redundancy. If you were to cut your rope.
you want like this guy taken off?
Yep, that's exactly the kind of stuff that we're here for.
This guy's probably fine, or do you want this one as well?
No, that's fine.
Let me get this one.
I would also get the one that your left foot is around.
This guy down
That
there?
guy.
Yeah, okay.
Your left foot, yeah. Slippery.
Is that like probably a good spot, like pretty well there?
Yep. Nice. Good to get into the practice of yelling clear.
Yeah.
Before you toss something down. So all I mean is climb the rope when it makes sense.
Yeah.
But don't think of it as rope climbing.
Yeah.
Right? It's tree climbing, right? Yeah, when you're in doubled line, you're constantly dealing with the two legs getting twisted on each other,
I just realized
which
that.
messes up your friction.
100%.
You really got to pay attention.
And then you got
Yeah, so you hit on a technique there.
What's that?
You hit on a technique there. If you cut something and it's hanging there, you can cut more off of it and chuck it in pieces. Doesn't have to come down as one. You can also tie off a piece and do the same thing. If it's too big to handle by hand, you can tie it off, cut it, and then it just hangs there, and then you can cut it up and chuck the little pieces. Can you get that, Tom? No? Okay. Yep. Nice.
That's where I wanted to originally go, but
How's it looking, Tom? Okay.
what's the boss thing?
Everything's soaked.
Yeah. It's wet outside.
That's what we're going for?
Yeah. Is there anything else you want out of that? Or do you want me to get the stuff that
I don't think there's anything major. There's a few smaller things that you can get on the way down.
over here, yeah.
Yep.
I think it's looking pretty good. I don't think we took lots out of it.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, like Pat said, if you want to take one or two more, that's fine. But
Just small stuff. Next project. Little tulip tree. Broken tops.
I mean, like, you could see the one over there. One, I can boost the one back to the side of the openings too. Like, you can probably get it close off. Yeah, okay. And we get that lower one. Okay. I'll
Just a hanger here that you can get on the way down.
Yeah.
And a couple small little guys. Looks good. Kendal's first climb.
There you go. But there was one recently. A guy we were saying that was done work for a farmer, and he sort of like always says like, well,
So to come down, you got to think about the path of your rope again.
yeah, I'm gonna climb back over.
You're going to have the easiest time just following the path, the tail. Yep.
Yeah, just kind of.
If not, then you'd have to pull the tail down through the new path.
I was thinking coming over here and then coming right towards.
Yep.
Just pop in the head now every time.
And so yeah, I was like, what you need is done. Not like dryer down, so this probably shouldn't matter. Probably won't call that guy even if Evan can't do it. Hey, Evan ended up being able to do it, but it's just like even Evan deserve each other. Please don't call it back.
Yeah, I wonder like there's no way to spending more than one round.
Thank you for showing me. That was pretty awesome.
Nice job, buddy.
Yeah, you're not forking out the money
Yeah.
out of your pocket.
I like it.
Hell of a job.
Yeah, thank you.